Hello, everyone. It's Victor speaking. And this is the third of the house series, the third videos of the house series I have been giving free lectures about in the last few days. So I hope you have enjoyed the first two episodes so far. So let us dive into the meaning of the fourth house, which I think a very important one. So this is usually where the IC is placed at, but it's not always the case. In Holstein house system, the angles are a floating degree, so they could be in more houses. The IC itself, or the fourth house, is actually a water angle, and it talks about your roots, where I came from, my own foundation, my emotional needs, legacy, and your heritage. Who am I when I am alone? But also, this is something to do with your hidden motivation to succeed in life. Areas of life I ignore at peril. So, this is what we're going to be diving into a little bit more. So, the fourth house is our roots, where we come from, but also the place where we are going back. So, actually, this is the house of funerals. Think about the process of nature. Trees are growing fruits and leaves, so those fall off and then feed the ground to be able to renew themselves. And it is something similar with us as well. I remember my English teacher used to say, we never go back to that place where we came from. And that's not entirely true in that sense. So the fourth house brings things full circle by also addressing old age, endings, and the final resting place for yourself. So I would say that this is the house of how you're going to live the last few years of your life. Is it going to be peaceful? Is it going to be action orientated? Um, but also, this is the house which talks about the surroundings. So not only yourself, but people who live, for instance, in the same household with you. I think it is also important to mention that it is not only the house of physical home, but also the inner home. So where you feel good about yourself, or in what ways. I would say that this is like a feel finally at home type of feeling. So if you discover the fourth house a little bit more in depth, what your emotional needs are, what you want to be surrounded by, I think actually you can activate this house quite easily. But also this house is associated with age 3 to 4 as a child. And this is the time when where there is a separation anxiety from the mom. So why is that? In some countries, mummies are going back to work at this age. The child is going to a nursery school. And of course, it is hard for the child, especially those who have got water signs on the fourth house cusp. This is the first time when the child doesn't want to feel or does want to feel safe, as we are not in mommy's arms anymore. So, and therefore, some of our insecurities start developing. So, fourth house does talk about your insecurities, especially with some hard aspects to the ruler or towards the fourth house. It is going to be a forever dilemma which parents' fourth house rules. In my opinion, this is the house of father. That was the Asian concept because they said that the foundation was created by the man of the house. The man was the breadwinner. The man was the one who provided safety to the family. Of course, nowadays the roles have swapped around, so probably worth having a look at both the fourth house and the 10th house for this matter. However, the fourth house is also rules over the surname, and that comes from your father as well. So, being the house of family and home, the fourth of the astrology house is explained is related to our family tree and the dreams, fears, and the relationship of our ancestors. So this house describes our connections to the core of planet Earth, along with our innate ability to love and be emotionally close to another human being. So this is your deepest emotional core, our roots, your genetic inheritance. So fourth house can be used in medical astrology as well. What type of genes you bring in into your life? Well, we're going to be speaking about that in a short while. So I think this house, in many cases, is mistaken for the house of tradition. But I think we have to understand that the fourth house represents closeness and togetherness. And the tradition itself is more seen through Capricorn and the 10th house energy, because that is something which gives you an ultimate feeling of responsibility. And you get recognized through respect of the elders and so forth. So it's not really about closeness, what the fourth house really mentions. Now, the fourth house is the second angular house. And as with all angular houses, it is associated with external manifestation, such as events and relationships. So this is the house of the root of power, the core of your inner being. And some astrologers call this house as the seat of the soul. And I kind of agree with that. You know, fourth house is the lowest part of your chart. So it could also indicate how low you can go once you are depressed, what you are capable of. So, but some of the questions which belong to the fourth house is what kind of relationship you had with your parents, what type of house you want to live in. By the way, talking about houses, it doesn't only talk about your family home, but actually talks about real estate and real estate business as well. But on a psychological level, this house is the inner messages and drive, the subconscious motivation to achieve something in the outside world. So any planet being on the IC actually represents why or what type of blockages you've got to achieve success in life. So fourth house is our kind of soil to develop the roots, the cellar, how you behave in private, the area of life we tend to ignore, and your secret fears as well. But also, this is your fixed wealth as well, such as your properties. So property for sale, lease agreements, description of your building and gardens belong here. Even missing people. So if someone is missing, you're gonna have to look at the fourth house ruler. The fourth house dignifies dark places, such as caves and holes, underground rooms. And also, in many cases, the fourth house is going to be showing you if a job is ending or a relationship is ending. So, for instance, if there is the fourth house ruler and the seventh house ruler somehow getting triggered by transits, then it might show an end of the relationship. So in mundane astrology, fourth house is going to be talking about the land, crops, farming, mine industry, property market, supplies that feed the nation, gas industry, and water supply as well. In medical field, the fourth house is representing the rib cage, your chest, and your lungs. So this is a Cancerian house, and Cancer is a water sign. And Cancer is all about protection. So what the rib cage does is basically the area which protects your kidney, and it is above the abdomen. So if this area is hurt, then it can give us actually pain in the abdomen. So its main function is to give stability to the upper part and to the organs in the upper part. So if, for instance, if the fourth house has got some negative effect, then it could result in, for instance, chest pain, such as having the fourth house in there. Or it could indicate even something to do with the nerve system as well. Because Saturn here would be very much about anxieties. But also it could bring breast problems also. By the way, the fourth house is a red house, so its color is red. Now, if we're turning the chart, because the fourth house is the 12 from the fifth, it does show what type of losses the child goes through. It does show us the siblings' financial situations and movable possessions, because there's the second from the third. It's the sixth house from the 11th. So fourth house indicates friends' illnesses as well. But also, most importantly, if you want to be, when we speak about the seventh house a little bit, you know, everyone is craving to know who their ideal match is. So it's worth having a look at the fourth house, because that's the partner's job house, 10th from the 7th. So let us have a look at a fourth house example, for instance. So let's suppose that we've got uh, Scorpio on the fourth house cusp, and having the planet Uranus in there. So, as we said, the fourth house is going to be talking about how you connected with your parents. And Scorpio itself is something which is very suspicious sign to start with, but also it's deep emotional bonds, but that needs to be kind of researched. So something we tend to bury because we don't want to get hurt anymore. So Scorpio is the sign of betrayal. And this could show that somehow the native has experienced betrayals within the family. And the planet in the fourth house is going to tell you what type of betrayal it might be. And Uranus is the planet of abandonment. So I got left behind, maybe by the father. Or Uranus there could show that we kept moving around, and that is causing me a significant issue. Every couple of years, I had to start a new school, for instance. So this is how you're going to put together your little reading, but also because the fourth house has got its own ruler, you're going to have to mix that with the ruler as well. So most probably by the time we get to the 12th house, then you're going to have a little bit of a easier picture of how to go about your own natal chart. So thank you very much for your attention. Don't forget to press like and ring the notification bell and send it to your friends and so forth. Let's grow together so I can make more exciting content for you. Have a lovely weekend, everyone. Bye-bye.